Hey guys, this is 1.9. It is dimensional analysis. So they're going to give you an amount in a certain unit, and all we're going to do is we're going to practice converting it to a different unit. So there's a little bit of fraction work, but the key to it is to determine what you're starting with and then what you need to end with and the steps to get there if there's more than one step. All right, so we've got a unit. They're going to ask us to convert the quantity in the indicated units. So this is what they've indicated to these units. Okay. Round your answer to two decimal places. To successfully convert between two different units, you need to identify three things. Number one, what units are you starting with? Number two, what units are you trying to get in the end? And then three, what is the conversion factor between those units? Sometimes you might need to convert more than once. It might be more than one step. Okay. So converting units basically comes down to, do you multiply or do you divide? So we're gonna set up a fraction, and then we're going to resolve the fraction probably to a decimal number. Good? So let's review how to multiply fractions. Here we have, for number 3, we have 10c divided by 1 times a divided by 33c times 5 divided by 3a. Okay? To multiply, you just multiply straight across the numerator, the top numbers, and you multiply straight across the denominator. So you just put them all together. That's now 10c times a times 5, all divided by 1 times 33c times 3a. And then we can just simplify that by saying 10c times a. Well, you can go step by step, or you can say, I'm going to multiply the 10 times the 5. 10 times 5 becomes 50. C, there's nothing to multiply the C by, so it's just 50C. The A is alone, there's nothing to multiply the A by, so it's 50CA divided by, here we can multiply the 1, the 33, and the 3, right? 1 times 33 just stays 33. 33 times 3, if you think about it, 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 3 is 9, so that's just 99 CA. I guess you would write AC just to be in alphabetical order. But alphabetical order is not the most important part. The most important part is that you're in descending order of exponents. Since those are both just exponent of 1 or to the power of 1, you can say 50 AC divided by 99 AC, which you can also kind of call that cancels that cancels that, and we have 50 over 99. Good. So that's what we're going to be using. We're also going to be using conversions. Here are your conversions. I added 2. 1 meter squared is equal to 10.76 feet squared, and 1 meter squared is equal to 1.196 yards square. All right, so this is the information we're going to be using to do our conversions. Here are a few more. A yard is 3 feet, a mile is 5,280 feet, a pound is 16 ounces, and 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So these are English conversions. And then here is the metric system, metric conversions. They are 1 kilo of something is 1,000 of it. 1 centa of something is 100 of it. 1 milla is 1/1000th of it. So that's how those work. 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. 1 meter is 100 centimeters, but 1 meter is also 1,000 millimeters. And then here we're converting between the English, inches, miles, gallons, to the metric system, centimeters, kilometers, kilograms, etc. Here is inches squared to centimeters squared. So these are the numbers that you're going to use to do your conversions. These are always the same. So if you don't have this paper, you can look it up. All right. So again, we are just using we're using the multiplication of fractions, and the hardest part is determining how to set up your fraction to include the units you're starting with and conversions to the units you want to get to. Okay? For number 6, it says use dimensional analysis to convert the quantity to the indicated units. Round the answer to 2 decimal places. So here we have 42 inches, and we want to convert 42 inches to feet. So if you were just thinking, well, I know, right? I know inches, I know feet. I know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot, so I can just say 42 divided by 12, right? Will give me how many feet 42 inches equals. However, though that is true, and though you can use that way, if you get in the habit of setting up a fraction each time, it might be a little easier to, like, you make fewer mistakes and it's easier to convert ones that you're less familiar with. Okay, so I'm just going to start with that 42 that they gave us, 42 inches. And then I want to multiply it by something. I'm going to put the units right next to it. It's 42 inches. We're going to multiply it by a fraction. What I want out of this fraction is I want the inches or the units that I start with to cancel themselves out. So if I have inches on top, over here I want inches on the bottom. Okay, then I can cancel out the inches and I'll be left with whatever units I put on top here. What units can I put on top here? I would love to put feet, right? So do I have the table that tells me how many inches are in a feet? In a feet, in a foot. It's not over here, but 1 inch is 12 feet, right? So I'm going to put 1 inch on the bottom and I'm going to put, shoot, sorry, I said that backwards, right? There are 12 inches in 1 foot. So 1 foot is 12 inches, okay, right? Because we want our fraction to be equal. 1 is equal to 1, right? Or 2 times 3 is the same as 6. If we put that into your calculator, 1 divided by 1 is 1, 8 divided by 8 is 8. 2 times 3 divided by 6 is 1, right? So 12 inches is 1 foot, and 1 foot divided by 1 foot is still 1, or 12 inches divided by 12 inches is still 1. So we're making an equality fraction. 1 foot is 12 inches, so that's just 1, right? But we're switching. So that's how we're going to convert our units from inches into feet, is to create a fraction that includes feet and inches, but the top and the bottom are equal to each other. Good? So we've made a fraction that includes feet and inches. It has the same equal, right? 1 foot is 12 inches, so those are equal. And I have inches on the top over here and inches on the bottom over here so that they will cancel. All right, so now I just multiply straight across like I multiplied straight across over here. You could even turn this into a fraction if you want. You can just put it over 1. So 42 times 1 is 42. On the bottom, we have 12. Now I'm going to divide 42 by 12, and it's okay if you get a decimal, right? All of our answers are going to be in decimal form or whole number form instead of fraction form. And then we're going to put the units. So 3.5 feet, 42 inches is 3.5 feet, and you're done. You can also check it on the internet if you want. Good. All right, here we have 6.8 meters to feet. So I'm going to start with 6.8. I'm going to put my, oh, sorry, miles. MI is miles, M is meters. So I'm going to put my units, and I need to multiply it by something, right? If I have miles up here, I want to put miles down here so that I can cancel out the miles because our final answer does not need to include miles. 6.8 miles times something over miles. I want to get to feet. So do I have the conversion that tells me how many feet are in a mile? I do. It's right here. It's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. I want miles up here and miles down here. So I'm going to say 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And then I'm just going to multiply straight across. 6.8 times 5,280. Did I get that right? Is 35,904 feet in 6.8 miles. Good. 63 feet to yards. Again, I'm going to start with the 63, put the units next to it. I need to multiply it by something. I want the feet to cancel the feet, so I'm going to put feet down here. Can I get from feet to yards in one step? Do I have feet to yards on the list? And if not, you can add to your list, right? You can Google how many feet are in a yard. Here we know that 3 feet are in 1 yard. So I'm going to put the 3 down here because I want feet and feet to be on opposite sides of the fraction. 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. That should be yard too. Yard squared. Now I'm going to multiply. 63 times 1 is 63 divided by the feet cancel. So it would be yards divided by 3. 63 divided by 3 is 21 yards in 63 feet. And again, I say, oh, I know that there are 3 feet in a yard, so I can take 63 and divide it by 3, which is all I really did. But setting it up this way, make sure that you don't multiply when you should divide, right? Feet are bigger than yards, so there should be less yards than feet in the same distance. 10 yards, we're going to convert it into inches. So we have a really long path of 10 yards. How many tiny little inches are in it, right? Okay, so start with 10 yards. We're going to multiply it by something, equivalent fraction that has yards in the bottom. What do we know about yards? Based on our tables, we can say that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Now that doesn't get us all the way to inches, but we can do it again, okay? 10 yards times 3 feet is 30. 1 times 1 is just 1. So that's going to be 30. And what are the units? These units cancel, so it's going to be 30 feet. 10 yards is 30 feet. That sounds true, right? We're going to take that same 30 feet and we're going to continue multiplying until we get yards. Here I have feet on the top, so I want feet on the bottom. And how many feet? Oh, sorry. We don't want to go to yards. We want to go to inches. How many feet are in an inch, or how many inches are in a foot? You could go either way, but I'm going to say there are 12 inches in 1 foot. But you can go either way. You can say that there are 0.083333 feet in 1 inch, right? But it's easier to use the whole numbers. So 30 feet divided by 1 times 12 inches divided by 1. 30 times 12 is 360. The feet cancel, and so I get 360 inches in 10 yards. And we are done. Number 10, I guess I need to keep this over here. Keep looking at it. All right, so we're looking at 480 miles to kilometers. Again, MI means miles, M means meters. I'm going to take 480, keep the units, 480 miles times, I want miles down here. And did I see a miles to kilometers? Yes. 1 mile is 1.61 kilometers. So 1 mile, 1.61 km. I'm going to multiply straight across. So we just have 1 on the bottom. It's 480 times 1.61 gives us 772.8. And then what are our units? Well, we had miles here and miles here, so we're going to cancel them, and we're going to say that those are kilometers. 480 miles is 772.8 kilometers. Good. 4 feet to centimeters, start with 4 on top, or just 4, multiplied by whatever it is. I want it to be feet on the bottom to cancel out the feet. Feet, how many centimeters in a feet? Well, I know how many meters are in a foot, or that there are 3.28 feet in 1 meter. So that's what I'm going to use. I know need to put the feet on the bottom because there's feet on the top over here. So that was 3.28 feet is the same as 1 meter. Now I'm just going to multiply straight across. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 3.28 is 3.28. And then I'm going to turn that into a decimal. Remember, we're turning them into decimals today. 1.2195. It says here, round the answer to 2 decimal places. So like 1.00 would be 2 decimal places, all right? But make sure you round it. So look at that number. That's a 1, but behind it is a 9, so we're actually going to round that up to a 2. So it's 1.22. And what are our units? Well, feet have been canceled, so 1.22 meters are the units left. Those aren't the meters they're asking for. They're asking for centimeters. So we're going to rewrite this as 1.22 meters, and then we're going to multiply it by something. I want meters on the bottom, and I want centimeters on the top. What do we know about meters and centimeters? 1 meter is 100 centimeters because cent means 100. Kind of like how there are 100 pennies in a dollar. All right, 1.22 times 100 is just going to be 122 centimeters. Good. And if we had left this as 1.2195, right? And then multiplied that by 100, then we would have 121.95 centimeters. So it's important to cut it off where they ask you to cut it off because you might get a slightly different answer. They ask us to round to the second digit, so we have to round to the second digit. All right, 38 miles per hour, convert it to kilometers per hour. This sounds difficult, but we can do it, okay? Because we have 2 different units. We have the kilometers and the hour. So 38, or sorry, the hour and the kilometers, yeah. 38 miles per hour times, what do we need to do? We're still just going to convert miles to kilometers. Good. So miles to kilometers, there is 1 mile in 1.61. All right, let's do number 13. We have 60 miles per hour into feet per second. Now this, we are going to need to convert both the miles into feet and the hours into seconds. Up here we did 38 miles per hour times 1.61 kilometers per mile, right? And we got 61.18 kilometers per hour, right? Because the miles were canceled and we got kilometers on the top, hours on the bottom. Good? Okay, number 13, 60 miles per hour to feet per second. So we're going to start with 60 miles in 1 hour, and it doesn't matter which one you can start converting, okay? You can put the miles into feet or the hour into minutes. I think I'm going to do hour into minutes. So, sorry, hour into seconds. So 1 hour, the hour is on the bottom. Right here, I want the hour on the top. 1 hour is the same as 60 minutes. Not the same as miles, right? So 60 times 1 is just 60. 1 times 60 is 60. So that's just 1. And then what are our units? The hours got canceled. 1 minute, 1 mile in 1 minute. And that makes sense, right? 60 miles in 1 hour means you're going 1 mile in 1 minute. Let's keep going with this. We need to make it, instead of 1 mile into 1 minute, how many miles in a second, right? Here, minutes are on the bottom. Minutes is what I'm trying to cancel, so I'm going to go from minutes to seconds. There is 1 minute in 60 seconds. So if I multiply, that'll just be 1/60th of seconds miles per second. Okay, kind of complicated. I apologize. So we've got 1/60th 0.0166666666, which I'm just going to leave as a fraction just to get a better answer. So 1/60th of a mile in 1 second, and I need to convert that to feet. Miles, feet. 1 mile is, what did we decide? 5,280 feet. Good. Okay, so the reason I left that as a fraction is just so that I can multiply it as a fraction. So instead of putting 0.16, I'm going to put in 1/60th times 5,280 to get 88. 1 times 1 is 1. So that is the miles cancel, and we say 88 feet per second. Okay. You can also go backwards for that one. So you can say 60 miles per hour. 60 miles in 1 hour. I started with the minutes, changing the hour into seconds. You can also change the miles into feet. So here I have miles on the top. I'm going to put miles on the bottom. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. I didn't want to get a really big number, so I started with converting into seconds, but I think this will be easier because a big number is better than a fraction to some people. So 5,280 times 60 gives me 316,800 over 1, right? What units cancel? The miles cancel. So 1 hour gives me 316,800 feet in 1 hour. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to switch it to feet per hour into feet per second. So now 1 hour is down here. I want 1 hour up here. I'll put minute down here. There is 1 hour in 60 minutes or 60 minutes in 1 hour. So now I have 316,800 over 60, which becomes 5,280. What are my units? The hour canceled, so I have 5,280 feet in 1 minute. And that makes sense, right? I'm going 1 mile in 1 minute. 1 mile is 5,280 feet in 1 minute. Take that down here, 5,280 feet in 1 minute. And now I need to convert it to seconds. So times, minutes are on the bottom, so I'm going to put minutes on the top over here. 1 minute is 60 seconds. So now I'm going to multiply it again, 5,280 feet in 60 seconds. Simplify that to 88 feet in 1 second. Good. Okay. So our final answer here is 88 feet per second. 4 ounces to grams. All right. What are our units for ounces? We said 16, sorry, we'll start with 4 ounces. We want to get rid of the ounces. So we know that 16 ounces is 1 pound. No, that doesn't. Is there a better one? 1 ounce is, okay. So there are 16 ounces in a pound. That is true. But there's also 200, or sorry, 28.3 grams in 1 ounce. I think that one will help us get to grams faster. So 4 ounces times, we want ounces on the bottom. And we said that 1 ounce is equal to 28.3 grams. So we're just going to multiply 4 times 28.3 is 113.2. What has been canceled? The ounces, so 113.2 grams. Number 15 asks us to convert quarts into liters. So we have 48 quarts times, we want quarts on the bottom. Based on our table, we know that there is 1.06 quarts in 1 liter. So we're just going to take 48, divide it by 1.06 to get 45.28 liters. Good. 3.2 yards to meters. So I'm going to say 3.2 yards times, yards are on the top, so I want yards on the bottom over here. Yards to meters. We don't have that. You are welcome to look it up, but we do have yards to feet. So we'll do 1 yard is 3 feet. 3.2 times 3 is 9.6 feet. The yards cancel. And then we need to put 9.6 feet times meters. How many feet are in a meter? Sorry, how many feet are in a meter? There's 1 meter for every 3.28 feet. So that becomes 9.6 divided by 3.28. 2.92. 2.93 meters. All right, number 17 asks us to put pounds into grams. What do we know about pounds and grams? £2.2 is equal to 1 kilogram. Okay. So I'll start with 3 pounds. Pounds is up here, so pounds can be down here. Must be down there. 2.2 pounds in 1 kilogram. So those cancel and we're left with kilograms. 3 divided by 2.2. Or you can say 3 times 1 divided by 2.2 is 1.36. Kilograms. All right, so we've got 1.36 kilograms out of 3 pounds. We want to get those kilograms into grams. What should we do? 1.36 kilograms times kilo. 1 kilo is 1,000 of something, right? So 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So we're just going to multiply 1.36 times 1,000. So we're going to get 1,360 grams in 3 pounds. 11 kilometers into miles. Start with 11 kilometers. How many kilometers in a mile? There are 1.61 kilometers in 1 mile. The kilometers cancel, and so we're just going to take 11 and divide it by 1.61 to get 6.83 miles. 3.6 meters to inches, so we'll go 3.6 meters times, I want meters on the bottom. Do I have the meters to inches? Yeah, I have meters to feet, so I'll put 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. 3.6 times 3.28 is 11.808 feet. And then we can need to convert those feet into inches. So 11.808 or 81 feet times inches. There is 1 foot for every 12 inches. So we're just going to multiply 11.808, or you can even say 11.81, right? Because I said round to the second decimal point, times 12 will give me 141.72 inches, right? Because we should have rounded that to 11.81 feet. 54 kilograms to pounds. There is, for every 1 kilogram, there are 2.2 pounds. So I'll start with 54 kilograms times, we want the kilograms on the bottom. So it's 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. 54 times 2.2 is 118.8 pounds. Good. 0.9 kilograms to ounces. 0.9 kilograms times, we want kilograms on the bottom so that they cancel, into ounces. Well, I have ounces into grams, or I have ounces into pounds and kilograms into pounds. So there are many ways to do it, but I'll just convert it to grams and then I'll multiply it by 28.3. Okay. So 1 kilo of something means 1,000 grams. So 0.9 times 1,000 is 900 grams. Take that 900 grams, change it to ounces. How many grams in an ounce? There are 28.3 grams in 1 ounce. So 900 divided by 28.3 is 31.80 ounces. Good? Okay. Number 22 asks us to do 70 liters into gallons. Start with 70 liters, multiply it by gallons to liters, gallons on top. So 1 gallon is equal to 3.79 liters. So we're just going to take that 70 and divide it by 3.79. 18.47, I'm going to say, okay? 18.47, the liters cancel, and I have gallons remaining. Good. 45 liters to quarts. 45 liters times 1 liter is 1.06 quarts. So I'm just going to take 45 and multiply it by 1.06 to get 47.7 quarts. Good. I'm not going to do pints because we didn't have pints on our table of conversions. All right, now we're going to do square units. Square units, you're just going to continue using the same conversion and just don't forget that square, okay? So 9 centimeters squared into inches squared, 9 cm squared times, well, this says it's 6.45 centimeters squared is 1 inch squared. 6.45 centimeters squared to 1 inch squared. So we're going to take that 9, divide it by 6.45 to get 1.395. I'm going to call that 1.40 inches squared, rounding it. 395 means that 5 means I have to change that 9 into a higher number. So that means I have to take 39 and change it to 40. So 1.4 inches squared. 40 meters squared into feet squared. That's why I added these because they weren't there. So 40 meters squared times, we want the meter square on the bottom. 1 meter square is the same as 10.76 feet squared. 40 times 10.76 is 430.4 square feet. Good. 20 meter squares to yard squares. 20 meters squared times 1 meter square is the same as 1.196 yard squared. We have 20 times 1.196. You get 23.92 square yards. Good? Okay. So just because there's a square after the units doesn't mean you have to do anything with that square. It's just a different unit. Okay. In a certain medium, sound travels at a speed of 5,410 feet per second. How many meters per second does sound travel in that medium? Round to the nearest tenth. The nearest tenth is that. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay. So just one number after the decimal. We have 5,410 feet each second. We're going to multiply it by meters per second. So 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. The feet cancel. 5,410 divided by 3.28 gives me 1,649.4. What's my units? Meters per second. Good. All right, our last 4 are just converting temperature to an equivalent temperature. I just put this in one big equation on my calculator, okay? Or into my calculator as one big equation. I don't do it step by step. So I'm going to show you on Desmos, just in case you use Desmos. I feel like there's better odds that you use Desmos than my calculator. So go over to Math Tool, Scientific Calculator, and our equation is Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius plus 32, right? Let's go back. Fahrenheit is 9/5 Celsius plus 32. So I would just say I'm going to multiply 9/5, use the parentheses, just to be careful, times 59, because it's in C. So the C goes right where that C goes, plus 32. Throw that into your calculator. So it was 9/5 times 59 plus 32. 138.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Make sure that I think it would be okay to put the fraction in times 59 plus 32. That will give you the same answer. Good. Oh my gosh, guys, I didn't even put in the calculator right. All right, go back to my screen's too small. All right, go back to my screen. I didn't write it correctly. All right, let's go back. You can go back and you can just write over it. So that should be 9 on the top and 5 on the bottom. So that will give you the same answer. But if you do your parentheses incorrectly and say like 59 plus 32 and put that in parentheses, it will not give you the right answer. All right, so just be very careful with how you enter it. You want to put parentheses around the term that you're inserting. So 9/5 time. Oh. All right. 9/5. And then the safest way is just put parentheses around the term you're entering. Leave everything else the same. That'll give you the correct answer. Okay. The next one is the same. We're converting from Celsius into Fahrenheit, but instead of starting with 59 degrees Celsius, we're starting with -8 degrees Celsius. So you're just creating that same equation, but you're putting a -8 in right here, plus 32, and we get 17.6 degrees. Okay. For number 30, 17.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's go back to our screen. Now we're going to be converting from Fahrenheit into Celsius. So we're going to use this equation. So that's 5/9 times F minus 32. So 49 minus 32 inside parentheses. All right. And here it'll be 5/9 times 132 minus 32 inside the parentheses. When you put that into your calculator, you get 9.4 degrees Celsius for number 31. And you can even just go up and change that to 132 minus 32 to get 55.6 degrees Celsius. Good. 55.6 degrees Celsius. And then that other one was 9.4 degrees Celsius. And that is the end of the lecture on dimensional analysis. Thank you guys so much and have a wonderful day.